Good morning and welcome to the first live of 2020. Thank you for watching this video. I'm going to be looking at a number of common mental health issues in the videos over the coming weeks. And the meditations will be focused on those issues and will, as ever, include mindful movement, i.e. the Qigong, as part of what we do. And today I want to start with anxiety. Now, when I mention the word anxiety, I'm sure there are a number of different feelings and thoughts that will come into your mind. And some of you may even go on the web and Google the official DSM, description of anxiety. Well, the DSM is a wonderful book in its own way, and I'm very glad it's there. But when you're dealing with mental health issues, so much is involved in what's going on up here that it's, I think, really very difficult to define what a particular mental health issue means to a particular person, because each person will experience it in a different way. And when I mention the word anxiety, the chances are that every single person watching this video will look at and think about a time when they were anxious. And if I asked you to describe the physical sensations of being anxious, you would probably all come up with different things, because you will experience it in very different ways. So I'm going to try to simplify things, because a lot of the terms that we're going to be looking at during these videos, you can see a huge overlap. Anxiety, worry, stress, pressure. You can see a huge overlap between them. So today, for anxiety, I'm going to work at what I feel is the simplest definition of anxiety and simplest description of anxiety, which is a kind of low-grade, nagging, constantly there, probably, feeling, but it needn't be constantly there, that you're not good enough for the situation, for the person, in some ways for life, that there is something essentially wrong with you that means that you're not up to coping. And so when I use the term anxiety, that's what I have in mind, this nagging feeling that in some way we are not adequate for what we're being called on to do. And whether you call it anxiety or worry or stress, I think everybody can relate to that feeling, especially if you're a parent or a carer, or a partner or a family member, and we're all in some ways been in that situation, that feeling that we just aren't quite good enough, not lovable enough. And it doesn't really matter what physical sensations you have with anxiety. I think that situation of feeling inadequate is something that everybody can relate to, because unless you are absolutely brimming over with self-confidence, everybody at some point is going to have been in a situation where they're thinking, I don't know how to do this. I'm not up to doing this. I can't cope with this. And so that's the feeling that I'm going to address in the meditation. So we're going to start with the meditation today. It will change around a bit at times. So I would like to invite you to get yourself into your quiet, safe space. Tell everyone that you're not to be disturbed. Turn your phone off. Definitely turn your phone off. Get yourself sitting or lying comfortably. And the first thing that I want you to do once you've got yourself settled is to let go of any thought or desire or intention that about what this meditation may do for you. Because to be honest, if you're simply taking the time and maybe even just going through the motions of meditating, well done, because a lot of people don't. So the first thing I want you to do is to congratulate yourself for actually giving yourself the time to even try to do something like this. Because by giving yourself the time to do something like this, you're actually acknowledging that you're worth it. And when you think back to what I was saying about anxiety, how it seems to stem often from a feeling that we're not good enough, doing things that emphasise to you that you're worth it are a very good way of counteracting that. So, I don't want you to have any thoughts about, how you're going to feel at the end of the meditation. Not really. I don't want you to have any thoughts about how you're going to cope during the meditation. I don't want you to have any thoughts about whether you're going to breeze through this and do it all wonderfully, or if you're going to really struggle. For me, and I hope for you, it's enough that you've opted to watch this video and at least try. So give yourself a pat on the back, and if for some reason this is the first time you've ever watched one of these videos and you've never even tried meditation before, doubly well done. Because I know how off-putting that word meditation can be. So get rid of any preconceptions you may have about what meditation means. I am not going to be asking you to clear your mind, because I'll let you into a secret. It's impossible. Nobody can. Nobody can clear their mind. What you can do is train your mind to think about things that you want it to. So, I hope by now you've got yourself settled, comfortable. I don't care whether you're standing, sitting, lying or kneeling or whatever, as long as you're in a position that's comfortable for you. I'd like to start off, I always begin and end my meditations with what some people call my magic bowl, my singing bowl. I'm going to sound it 3 times. And to begin the meditation, the 3rd time, I'm just going to let the sound of the bowl die away. And the first thing I would like you to try and notice is, can you notice the sound of the bowl fading into silence? Can you actually notice that moment when you lose the sound of the bowl? So, as Judge Judy would say, get your listening ears on. So, as the sound of the bowl fades into silence, you can close your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. I want you to be comfortable. And I'd also like to apologise for that. I've got a cough. I'm going to keep coughing during this. I hope it won't put you off. But now the sound of the bowl has gone, can you be aware of any other sounds that are reaching your ears? Could be sounds from inside the room, maybe a clock ticking, or from outside the room, maybe the voices of other people in the house, or maybe voices from outside the house. Just be aware. I don't want you to stretch out and listen. I want you just to allow those sounds to just gently come into your ears, hit your eardrums, and gently make their way through to your brain. And as those sounds hit your ears, can you just notice that right here, right now, those sounds don't matter? There's nothing you need to pay attention to. They're not affecting you. Just let the sounds come and let the sounds go. Because right here, right now, those sounds don't matter to you. Because all that matters to you, right here, right now, is that you've given yourself this time to do something just for you. And when you've congratulated yourself again for giving yourself this time, I just want you to just be. Just be. And maybe let your attention move down to your breath. So you're just noticing every breath. Now the chances are, and I don't care whether you're a regular meditator with me or if this is your first time, chances are that your mind is going to want to wander off. There'll be part of your mind that will be thinking, this is boring, this is silly, I can't do this. Or you'll start thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner, or the shopping you've got to do, or the fact that you've forgotten to put the laundry in. Any one of 100 things could come into your mind. Well, do you know what? If that happens to you, well done, because that just shows you've got a totally normal human mind. Because even if you're used to meditating, those sorts of thoughts will still intrude. But the important thing isn't that your mind doesn't wander. The important thing is that you notice that your mind wanders. And that every time you notice that your mind has wandered, I want you to congratulate yourself, because that's what being mindful is all about. It's about noticing what your mind is doing. So, every time you notice that your mind has wandered, first of all, congratulate yourself. And then just gently lead your mind back to focusing on every in-breath and every out-breath. And just keep reminding yourself of one very important thing. That whatever else may be going on, right here, right now, the only thing that matters is just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. And I don't care how many times your mind wanders. Just every time it does, just bring your mind gently back to your breath. Because that's the essence of mindfulness. And now, with your next in-breath, I'd like you, as you breathe in, I'd like you to imagine that your breath is filled with self-confidence. And as you breathe, with every in-breath, can you imagine that you breathe in even more self-confidence, and with every out-breath, I'd like you to imagine that you start pushing that self-confidence round the whole of your body. And maybe it will take 3 or 4 gentle, easy breaths. By the time you've done that, I'd like you to imagine that the whole of your body is filled with self-confidence. And when we're self-confident, when we've got confidence in ourselves, confident that we're enough, we have no need to be anxious because we have the confidence that whatever life can throw at us, we'll cope. We'll not only cope, we'll cope okay. Now that may be a very strange thought for you, but that doesn't matter. And if at the moment you can't quite believe and get the idea of breathing in self-confidence and filling yourself up with that feeling, if that feels totally foreign to you, that's okay. It takes practice. That's why meditation really needs to be done every day. That's why mindfulness needs to be practiced every day. So you practice it when you've got good conditions. So when the conditions aren't so good and you really need it, it kicks in automatically. And it can happen. So just continue breathing in, imagining that feeling of self-confidence, slowly filling your body till the whole of your body is filled with self-confidence, from the top of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. Now, if there's a particular thing or situation that you know is a source of anxiety for you, now you're filled with self-confidence. Can you maybe imagine yourself coping with that situation? Just imagine yourself dealing with that stroppy teenager, with that difficult boss, with a tricky relative, filled with self-confidence. Maybe you don't know what self-confidence feels like, just as you couldn't maybe really define what anxiety felt like. Well, that's okay. If you've never experienced self-confidence, you must know what it looks like, because you will have seen other people that you think, oh, they're so confident, I wish I was like them. Just imagine you're them. With every breath, imagine yourself filling yourself up with those feelings of self-confidence. Now let those images go and bring your awareness back once more to the simple act of breathing in and breathing out. And as you focus your awareness on your breath, of necessity you're focusing on this moment, this breath, this moment. And maybe you can see your breath as an anchor, to anchor you into this moment, and maybe to anchor you into the feeling of self-confidence. Yes, you may need to watch this video several times before that becomes real for you, but that's the reality of meditation and mindfulness. It needs regular practice. So it's time to let your awareness start to move outwards now. So let your awareness move from your breath, and let your awareness spread out so that you become aware of the whole of your body. And you become aware of what position your body's in. Can you become aware of any sensations in or on your body? And then allow your awareness to spread further out so that you're aware of the room, maybe aware of sounds from both inside and outside the room. And then I'm going to invite you once more to listen to the sound of my singing bowl. If you've got your eyes closed, keep them closed until the bowl has sounded for the third time. Allow your eyes to open if they were closed. And then we'll move on to some mindful movement. Now, for those who've never watched this video before, what I teach is a thing called Tai Chi Qigong. And in these videos I simply take you through the first 4 moves of a much, much longer set of moves. But the moves I take you through are energetically balanced. And they're moves that encourage you to be mindful of your breath and of your body. Now the moves are best done standing, but can be done seated. So I'm now going to move back from the camera and stand up. But if you need to be seated, just stay where you are and I will make sure that you know what you should be doing. So bear with me a moment. So, get yourself standing, look down at your feet, and can you make sure that your feet are about a hip width apart? Make sure that your feet are parallel and facing forward, obviously. That applies whether you are seated or standing. If you're standing, just gently relax your knees a little. Whether you're seated or standing, can you engage these core abdominal muscles with a slight pelvic tilt? Make sure that your back is nice and straight. Get your neck straight and then tuck your chin in. Think about the top of your head. Make sure the crown of your head is pointing up at the ceiling. Allow your shoulders to relax and let your arms hang loosely by your side. Now if you're seated, obviously you can't have your legs relaxed because they're going to be bent at the knee. But still try to make sure that your back and your neck are straight. If you're seated, bring your back, and you've got a back on your chair, bring your back away from the back of the chair so that you're supporting your head without leaning back. Now if you can't get yourself into an ideal position for whatever reason, and I know I have people watching these videos who have quite severe disabilities, who are in wheelchairs, who don't have a hope of getting into anything like an ideal position, that doesn't matter. Just get yourself into the best position that you can. And then I want you to take a moment to just breathe. Just breathe and get used to this position. Let your arms hang loose by your side. And assuming that you've managed to get yourself into an ideal position, standing straight and tall like this is the best antidote to lack of confidence that I know. So the mere act of standing nice and straight or sitting with a nice straight back is actually one of the best ways to increase your feeling of self-confidence. So again, let go of any feeling or intention for how you feel this should go or how you think you should feel. Just go with the flow and do what seems right to you. Let your arms hang loose by your side. And then when you're ready, and with your next in-breath, just allow your arms to float out in front of you. And then as you breathe out, just allow them gently to sink down. Find your own breath and your own rhythm, and let everything be driven by your breath. Don't worry how high you're moving your arms. Small is beautiful in Tai Chi. At least is in my version of Tai Chi. So I want you to be mindful of what your breath and your body are doing. But standing or sitting in the best possible posture to give you that feeling of self-confidence. And then we'll do this move twice more. And the next move begins the same way, letting your arms float up and then turning your palms in and letting your arms spread out. And then as you breathe out, just reverse it so everything floats back in and back down. Again, only make the move as big or as small as you can manage in one gentle, easy breath. Find your own breath and your own rhythm. We'll do this move one more time. And then with your next in-breath, allow your arms to float up. Make an arch. And as you breathe out, shift your weight slightly to the left. Let your left knee relax as your right arm uncurls, keeping your back straight. And as you breathe in, everything comes back to the center, and then do the same on the other side. Now if you're seated, as you uncurl one arm, lift the heel on the same side. Remember to keep your back straight. Don't worry if you feel you aren't doing the moves right, just do what works for you. There is no perfect way of doing Tai Chi. No matter of doing it perfectly, but doing what's perfect for you. We'll do one more move on each side. Your hand comes up, and as you breathe out, turn your palms outwards and allow your hands to gently float all the way down by your side. And as you breathe in, let your arms float up. Don't stretch, don't strain. Make the circles as big or as small as you're happy with. We'll do this move one more time. And this time as you breathe out, just allow your hands to gently float in front of you, ending with the palms up. And then with your next in-breath, can you imagine that you're feeling around a small ball? Then as you breathe out, imagine you push that ball underwater. It's a very small ball. Keep this move nice and small. Be careful to take your hands no higher than your heart. Last time for this move, breathe out, bring your hands to rest in front of your belly or in your lap or by your side, wherever works for you. Take a moment just to check your posture. And then just spend a few moments just standing or sitting and just breathing. Just getting that sense of everything settling back to where it should be. And then just take a moment to just get yourself sitting or standing comfortably again. I hope you enjoyed that. If it's the first time you've watched these particular videos, thank you for joining me. I include the Qigong in these videos because Qigong has a number of physical and mental health benefits. But mindful movement is a very important and very valid part of mindfulness practice, and let's be honest, that's what these videos are all about. They're about mindfulness practice. But mindful movement can be a useful thing to practice for the sort of person where you mention the word meditation, they immediately freeze up and think they can't do it. Although I hope what we did in today's video has proved to you that actually anybody can meditate. It's quite easy. Because we do set expectations for ourselves. And again, this comes back to a lack of confidence, and that lack of confidence causing anxiety. So please, please, please do not have any anxiety at all about whether you can do mindfulness and do meditation and mindful movement. You can. You may not do it perfectly at first. That's why you need to practice it, and that's why I do these videos, so that you can watch them as often as you want. Thank you for watching. These videos are totally free and will continue to be free. Please do feel free to pass them on to anyone that you think may be interested. They will go on my YouTube channel. So again, spread the word about that if that's where you found this. I do have a Patreon page, and the link is given at the top of the Crystal Wolf Qigong and Mindfulness page. Patreon patrons obviously get this free video, but patrons also get extra video time with me to deal with the things that they want to deal with. So basically my patrons will drive the content of other videos. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any suggestions for specific mental health issues that you would like me to cover in future videos, do please contact me. I've got a list in my own mind for what I'm going to do. I will post what I'm going to do in advance of the video, so that usually gets trailed on the Crystal Wolf Qigong and Mindfulness page. So if you're enjoying this video, pop on over to the page, like the page, and so that you make sure you get notified when I'm going to go live, and so you can see what I'm going to be doing in the next week's video. I haven't got a set time or day when I'm going to do these videos. I will do one video in a calendar week, but depending on what's going on, it may be on a Saturday or a Sunday or maybe even a Monday. But you will have one video every 6, 7 or 8 days. And that's my guarantee to you. So thank you very much for watching. Happy New Year. And I will be back probably next Sunday. But to be honest, it could be any time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday or Monday. Because those are the days when I know I'm actually free. So I will have a think about what I'm going to do next week. If you've got any ideas, do please pop over, and feedback is always welcome. And thank you very much for watching me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And thank you to those people who popped in to watch me live.